right. Let's see. So for today, there's a few updates in there. It's a bunch of contribute updates that are coming through. So please watch the page, read up on it. The sessions, excursions will open tomorrow. No, not tomorrow, on the 20th. And then I'm not sure about signing up for the daily track sessions. I still need to read up on it. So anyway, read up on the contribute page. For the team day, I guess this only applies to you, Andreas. We need to figure out what we're doing as a group for the team day we should figure it out by tomorrow. So just put some feedback on the issue there, and now we can figure something out with folks that are going. In case you missed it, and this is the first time for Pat, we hit our IACV target for January. So you can spend $100 on a meal if you have clients you want to take out, or you can take out your family. So take them out, enjoy yourself, and just expense it. And there's instructions. Actually, I can link the instructions somewhere on how to expense those. So you have until the end of February to submit that. And then actually starting now, so end of January, they're going to switch to a quarterly cadence instead of a monthly cadence. So, and I can find the details on that. I don't remember how it's going to work, so, but it changes. Any questions on any of those? Take that as a no. All right, so the milestone board. So we do need to close out whatever's open on 12/8, or move it over, I suppose. Can you close that one out? So if these are still being validated, then we can leave them for now, but if you're not actively working on them, so Pat, the rest of them in 12/8 are yours. Are these being reviewed for production, or are they still in like MR review?
Yeah, that one is in MR review right now. The second one is, that one is finished. We can close that out, or I can close it.
Yeah. Drag this one over. You want to close that one out? Cool. This one doesn't look like it has an assignment on it. Bring it. And then the last one.
Yeah, I mean, this sort of fell in the category of the other one that we closed just due to not really being specific enough. We were creating more specific, I think there were some specific issues that were created to solve direct search problems. Well, this one, I guess, was a little more specific, but the actual query, there's not really a whole lot we can do. It's sort of a partitioning thing we were looking at.
Okay. Not sure what to do. Let me think about this one, whether we should leave it open as a placeholder for now, and then we can open specific ones off this one.
Perhaps we can actually move forward with the group issue search in the partitioning topic, and I think it's probably a good solution to that issue as well. I don't know if we have to keep that open.
Say that again, Andreas.
Sorry. So I was wondering, the group issue search that we discussed for partitioning as an example, that also solves this issue, I think. I wasn't sure if we want to keep that open or if we'd rather like explain a specific solution for this type of problem as an MVC2 partitioning. That could also work.
No, if we have a more specific fix, then yeah, we could certainly replace it. We can replace this one with that one. Do we have, do you have the issue link handy for the group specific search?
No, I haven't created that. I'm going to do that until tomorrow evening for the working group.
Okay.
And I can link that in.
All right, let's do that. Leave it open for now and just drag it over, and then we can replace it with that issue once it's created. All right, we'll leave 12/8 open until that one's done. So 12.9, still focusing on partitioning and sharding. The output from the working group will help drive priorities. There's still a lot of questions that Andreas and I have asked about, what are the expectations? What are the implementation steps we should prioritize? What are people expecting from this working group? So that could shift our priorities around a little bit for 12.9 and for partitioning in general. So that's why I called this out. It could change some of our priorities for 12.9. But that being said, the focus is still on the tendency model and what Andreas has listed here for investigate impact on search when partitioning. So
yeah, I would expect that we're going to spend quite a bit of time on like exploring these options, discussing them, and sort of creating more detailed issues for the individual work that's going to come. I don't think we can do much actual work on partitioning the smart stone because we don't have things like structure SQL, and that just makes it hard to implement anything. But I think there is a lot of discovery to do still.
Is this still blocked?
Yeah, the issue that's blocking it is scheduled for 12.9 as well, I think.
Okay. That's the distribution. Is this going to affect the ability to test PG11? Or is that completely separate?
No, I think that's completely separate to. You mean testing on GitLab.com or the upgrade on GitLab.com or something else?
Yeah, testing for .com, because there's still a bunch of testing paths that need to be done. But my concern still is that functional testing, having the 10K reference architecture, but is this going to block that?
No, it's not. This is merely a development effort. The schema handling is not even like, it doesn't impact any of the existing installations that we have.
Okay. All right.
And I'm guessing we could even go live with 11, roll it out in Omnibus, and it still wouldn't matter. It's only going to be a problem when you want to use 11 specific features, isn't it? Or non-generic SQL features.
Exactly. So this is really just about converting from a Ruby schema file to a SQL schema file, but the schema itself shouldn't change, hopefully. So it's a one-to-one. It's just a different way of handling that during development.
Let's see, going back to this one. So for 12.9, do we have enough work identified in 12.9? Pat, do you feel like you have enough assigned to you for now?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it sort of depends with the discovery that's ongoing, how much of that will be to me, because yeah, a lot of these I think are probably more minor things that are going to need to be addressed. So, I think there's probably room for some more things in there for me, at least, depending on how much I'm going to be involved in the partitioning.
Okay.
I think it would be great if the two of us can spend time on the partitioning, discussing that going forward.
Okay, sure.
If you like to.
Yeah, definitely.
I would love that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. And then if we run out of work in this column, we can always pull in work from that top 50 report if we need to, or we can pull in from future milestones. And we only have 12.10 listed here. I can add one for 12.11 as well. But yeah, definitely pair up with Andreas on the partitioning and sharding work, because there's going to be a lot that's going to come out of that. And let us know if there's not enough work in there. If you have free time, we need to bring in more work, because there's plenty. There's that top 50 list of queries that are underperforming. We could certainly pull in some optimizations there.
We could also pull in from the top of 1210 the offset pagination thing. That's something we can do today already if we run out of work. And it frees our capacity for 1210, because we should get that done, I think, until 13.0. But we can't work on the partitioning things, or at least not much.
Okay. I haven't looked at this one yet.
I wanted to bring that up again because I think this is sort of a question for us to answer, how we handle things like that in general. Because in this issue, sort of all the things that are database related is readily available. Like it's really just about fixing or adding a foreign key constraint. And we have quite a few issues like this where the model is missing things in the database, stuff like that. I was wondering if we should own stuff like that, or if we want to try to have the backend team from this area own it. And in this case, it seems to be difficult, because apparently we don't have a team that owns namespaces at this time, or maybe not too many people on that team, which is a bit surprising as well.
Yeah, I think to your point, and the other conversations we've had about this, the backend team should own this eventually. And if we have documentation or examples of how they could do this, then we could certainly point that to them. In the cases where we don't have examples, like maybe they don't have the expertise to even do this, we could probably take on the first issue and setting up the examples or documentation guidelines on how to do it, right? Or if it's super urgent and they don't have the bandwidth, then we can talk about picking it up. But ultimately, yeah, backend team should own examples like this. So in this case, for the foreign key constraints, do we have an example? Do we have things that we can point them to so they can implement themselves?
Yes, we do. That's pretty standard. We have helpers for that. We also have examples of migrations fixing the data issues. And I mean, I'm happy to help, but it feels like something that does not necessarily have to be on us, because it's database work, you know.
Yeah, this one, I could see where it's difficult to understand if this one's urgent or not, right? It would have solved an outage if this was in place, or it would have prevented an outage if this was in place, or at least that's my understanding, prevented an outage. So while it's not day-to-day urgent, it could be urgent. So it's hard to prioritize this one.
I was surprised seeing that feedback that there's currently only one team member in that team that owns the namespaces and stuff like that, which is really a core kind of feature of the application. So I was wondering how did that happen? I mean, have we split teams recently in that area? Or?
I don't know, to be honest. We can look into it. Not sure. How much work is this to do? How hard is it?
It's fairly standard, I think. We would have to find, or we would have to agree on how we deal with data issues. So the inconsistencies that we had, where we have dangling namespaces without a parent, probably can just delete them, most likely. And then we do a migration, we delete them, we put the foreign key in place with another migration, and then that's it. So yeah, it's not a lot of effort. It's a good example to ask that question. We have plenty of these examples as well.
Wow, I only have one starting in 12.9. It might be a while for them to pick this up.
I mean, it'd be really surprising if we didn't have any backend team that was owning the area of namespaces and groups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Perhaps we were talking to the wrong group, but I find it hard to figure that out, what the right group is.
Yeah, I'll see if they can get this scheduled in the next 1 or 2 milestones and let them see if they can pick it up before we pick it up, because I don't want that to be the habit of us picking up all these things. It should be owned by the back end teams. So
Yeah, we talked about that already.
yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's all we have on the agenda for this week. Any other topics we should cover? All right. And we'll take that as a no. Ben, you got anything for us?
Nothing specific. When I had a chat with Andreas a few weeks back, we were talking about the kind of stash of issues data that I've been building. I've not made any progress on it since then, but I posted a PDF of it onto the Slack channel. So I've been mulling whether not actually it might make more sense to use an issue to track that data instead. So whenever I decide to go and look for database related tickets, anything that looks interesting, I could track in an issue and then close it, and then we can put that somewhere where we can all see it, because it's hidden on a private wiki at the moment.
Yeah, it would be better to have it in an issue. And then if you add the group database label, then we can see it. It'll show up on the board. All right.
Is there an issue tracker that you're using in support, not only for database but also for other stuff? Or
yeah, we've got like a support meta project that we use for sort of improvement of processes and issues that arise doing support. So that's a possibility. But as I kind of like the idea that in principle somebody else could come and do this role and they wouldn't need to know where it was, and you would know where it was because it was sitting somewhere expected, either the main GitLab repo or maybe a database one somewhere if you've got one, because it ought to be possible to use it to provide some general intelligence on the sorts of challenges our customers are having.
Yeah, I didn't mean to stop sharing the screen, but I was looking for the support board. I didn't see anything in there.
Yeah, we don't really have a board, I don't think. So okay, that'll do. So I'll stick it on the chat. So it's in the GitLab com project. That was what I was wondering, whether or not there was someone in GitLab com rather than putting it on the code management group, whether or not we could put it within the organization somewhere. Because it's part of running GitLab rather than developing the product.
Okay, so this is your own sub project then. Are they, so the database specific ones, do you label them with database or anything?
Me. So I've at the moment I've not created any issues. Oh, is this a support matter? Yeah, I've not. I'm using a wiki at the moment. So yeah, I've not created anything in there yet that's database specific. I suspect most of the tagging is only for stuff that is useful for support, really.
I wonder if our board would pick up anything that was tagged with that group database label. For some reason, I doubt it, but would be an interesting test.
Yeah, it's in your board's going to be over in the GitLab org group, I expect, isn't it? So it won't have visibility on this side.
Okay.
That could be that alone could be a reason for putting it on the GitLab org side if it's easier. Yeah.
Well, in either case, I mean, if you want to keep it here, we can just add this to the database team agenda to review on a regular basis. Or you can throw issues into the GitLab org project and we can start picking them up and they'll be on the board. So we can follow up next week with however you want to implement it and make sure that we're reviewing those on a regular basis.
Okay.
Are those considered private issues or is this public?
So the content I put in there, I specifically made all public compatible. So I don't name customers. I use the Salesforce link, which we use extensively when we're linking customers onto tickets, onto issues. Sorry, and ticket numbers similarly. It's not a problem putting those semi-public. So it's beyond that. They're kind of just notes about what was interesting about their database setup beyond that. So there shouldn't be anything that would be problematic if it was in the public domain.
Do you think most of those are like actionable issues, or is it rather like, hey, this is an interesting situation for that customer, and here's how we solve that?
It's that sort of thing, yes. Yeah. And to some extent, I'm doing this because I'll find myself, say, at a meeting like this, or other meetings, or working a ticket, and I'll think, I've seen that somewhere else, and so I'm stashing this information so that I've actually got, an easier way of finding it than going trawling hundreds of tickets, retrospectively. But yeah, also if you were to say to me, so what sort of issues are customers running AWS RDS encountering? I can just pass through that and say, well, these ones are interesting. That sort of thing.
I think it'd be really good if we make this discoverable and public. It could be useful for anybody evaluating what are the issues that you run into with GitLab on RDS or stuff like that. I wasn't sure if the development tracker is a good fit for it, because we also like to, I think we do also we also triage those and those are rather maybe actionable things that we still have to deal with. Sort of, it sounds more like a knowledge base of things that you encounter.
Yeah.
Perhaps the support tracker is maybe more
appropriate
for it, but it's.
I'll stash them in there, and then yeah. I mean, I'd be easy enough if I put a tag on them. Then we can link to a view of just those issues. Then, so yeah, I'll see what I can organise along those lines.
Cool.
You do have
okay. That's group database tag. Yeah.
Yep. So we can just add that to the regular reviews. That way we don't forget on a regular basis. So, and I will update it with whatever label you choose, I'll update the link later on if you end
Sure,
up
yeah.
adding either the database or group database label, and we can update these links later.
Yep.
Cool. All right. We're about at time. Anything else? All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Great.
See you later.
See ya.